wants to see multiple big names on the move this offseason. Here are some trades that Canty said this morning on Unsportsmanlike that he wants to see. We discussed that first one already earlier today, but our friend also wants to see Myles Garrett, Maxx Crosby, and A.J. Brown on the move. So as you look at these and gaze, which is your favorite Canty trade scenario? Go ahead.
And Canty, get everybody on the move. I'm going to say A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. And A.J. Brown has discussed growing up as a kid being a huge fan of the Patriots and a lot of those guys. The connection between him and Mike Vrabel, I think, goes a long way. The A.J. Brown piece of it. And I'm not saying Philly should be looking to move on from him, blah, blah, blah. You can get into and dive into that relationship and dissect it all you want. But if he was to go on the move, being in New England with a head coach that knows and understands what makes him tick, what gets him going, him being there, being happy with a quarterback like Drake May who can get the ball deep down the field. That's where he thrives at on a team that you look at that Super Bowl, they struggled for Drake May just to be able, obviously, to have enough time, but for guys to get open one-on-one in those matchups. So I think A.J. Brown is a difference maker there. I think attitude-wise, he comes in with the right mind frame under Mike Vrabel, and he can make a huge impact.
I'll be in the next couple of days. I think Maxx Crosby is an interesting figure in all of this, and where Chris Canty has him going is Chicago, which would be ironic because that's where Khalil Mack went when he was on the end of his Raiders days as well. A very similar situation. I am a huge Maxx Crosby fan, the person and the player. I think Maxx Crosby is one of those guys that is a cornerstone piece, whereas to see on the jersey and is the first one in, last one to leave, all the cliches you usually get about a franchise player, I think you're getting a lot more than just a pass rusher when you bring in a Maxx Crosby. I just don't see the Raiders trading him. I would think they'd have to be bowled over and blown away. And if Chicago somehow is able to find the way to get him the same calendar year that they were able to bring in guys like Joe Tooney, who's a cornerstone piece, and Grady Jarrett, who's a cornerstone piece, I'd say Ryan Poles is in line for Executive of the Year. I can't see the Raiders moving on from Crosby just yet, but if Chicago was to land him, love that for the Windy City.
True.
I love it more. Go ahead, Stephen A.
Chicago's incredibly exciting, and that's a beautiful scenario because I'd love to see Maxx Crosby in Chicago myself. They need all the help they can get defensively, offensively with Caleb Williams, who's emerging before our very eyes. I love watching that kid play. They can do some things, and to see that crowd in Chicago in that freezing temperature be out there come playoff time, it was really something to behold. It was really, really exciting from the last game in the regular season or so to the couple of playoff games that they had. But could you imagine Myles Garrett in Buffalo? Could you imagine that mother? I mean, you talking about Josh Allen handling things offensively, Myles Garrett in Buffalo. I mean, reminding them of Bruce Smith and the days they had as a defense when Bruce Smith was there. That sack master. I mean, could you imagine to have your version of Josh Allen on the defensive side of the ball, wreaking havoc and giving Josh Allen more opportunities, more bites at the apple because you got a defense that can neutralize somebody because you can get to the quarterback? I mean, my Lord, could you imagine that? I think that's the scenario. We want to see the kind of difference maker that can occur and what could happen. Bills Mafia in the house and everything that comes with it. I mean, Myles Garrett in Buffalo, to me, would do it. That would do it for me.
So in Canty's trade scenario here, he has DJ Moore of the Bears, wide receiver for the Bears, going to the Ravens. Now, I would hate that scenario. However, I wouldn't mind trading DJ Moore if we're getting Maxx Crosby. Like, if we trade DJ Moore a 1 and a 3 for Maxx Crosby, I'm all about it. But other than that, I'd like DJ Moore to stay a Bear. He just, kind of feels like Bears culture, Maxx Crosby, doesn't he? Like that monsters of the Midway, tough guy. I love it. I would love it.
That's the thing with Maxx Crosby. You can plug and play any NFL uniform, and he's going to fit the culture because he's that type of guy.
I gave, Executive of the Year to Ryan Poles. He hasn't done any trade yet. Let's slow down here. Until you get Maxx Crosby, we're not giving out those awards.
You're playing to your audience.
List. And the list, by the way, just for those who may have missed it, go back on the podcast, listen to it, as top 5 trades CC would want to see heading into the NFL free agency, draft, trade window, as we've already seen moves made. Just to be clear, these are not reported trades by CC. These are not even rumored trades in some capacity. Most of them have names that have been rumored in trades, but these are the ones that he would like to see. Raiders and Jets flip-flopping 1 and 2. Myles Garrett to the Bills, Maxx Crosby to the Bears, A.J. Brown to the Pats, DJ Moore, wide receiver Chicago Bears to the Ravens. Smalls.
So this is a very juicy list. if any of these happened, we would be feasting on it here on Unsportsmanlike. We would love for these deals to happen because it gives us something really juicy and fun to talk about. I have one objection.
What we got?
It's number one. I know that you made a very compelling case as to why the Raiders should trade down and why the Jets should mortgage their future with draft capital to get Fernando Mendoza. But if I'm the Raiders, why would I ever consider that? I have a new coach in place, an offensive guy. I have pieces on the offense that I've been building, and I finally have the cherry on top, the missing piece of the puzzle, and a pretty good one in Fernando Mendoza. And you know, as a regime, whether it's head coach, GM, ownership, you're going to have to find a guy and ride with him at the quarterback position. You've got to hitch your wagon to a horse. And Fernando Mendoza feels as safe of a bet as we've seen in some time on and off the field.
Easy answer. Look at what the Chicago Bears did. They had the opportunity to take Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. They opted not to. They traded down with the Carolina Panthers. The following year, they had the #1 pick via the Carolina Panthers and drafted Caleb Williams. Turned out to be a pretty good deal, right? It was a stronger class in 2024 than there was in 2023. That is what the scouts believe when it comes to the player evaluation. So if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, the answer to your question would be, yeah, the 4 first-round draft picks or 3 or 4 first-round draft picks that I would get in order to trade down, make it worth my while. And then, oh, by the way, I'm shorting the New York Jets, who are going to be starting a rookie quarterback. Pretty good place to be.
So when the Bears did that, it did work out for them, obviously. Like, they beat my team in the playoffs. It obviously worked out for them. And it worked out pretty quickly once they got the right head coach in place. And they built around him in a really smart way. However, when they passed on Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, et cetera, they knew Caleb was the one that they had identified. They were like, he's the one. We've seen what he's done at the collegiate level. We're going to be patient because we think that that class in general with Jaden, Drake May, et cetera. Is there one player that's out there on the horizon that you think the Raiders could wait for or should wait for?
Oh, I mean, Dante Moore, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, take your pick. Like, I think there's going to be a ton of quarterbacks coming out next year that fit the mold of being a franchise guy. And I think they have less questions in terms of how their game translates to the next level. So, I mean, listen, I like Fernando Mendoza a whole lot. I think he's worthy of being the #1 overall pick. He's not going to be the worst #1 overall pick that we've ever seen, but he's also not going to be the best #1 overall pick that we've ever seen. And I think that gray that exists is why the Las Vegas Raiders would entertain being paid 3 or 4 first-round draft picks from the Jets in order to move down.
Yeah, if I'm the Raiders, there's no chance I'm doing this. And I think the Bears comparison is really interesting. If I were to say to you right now, next 10 years, to rank Fernando Mendoza, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young, who you would want on your team? Who's 1, who's 2, who's 3?
Oh, man, I don't know, man. I don't even know if it's fair to rank Fernando Mendoza with those guys, and we haven't seen Fernando Mendoza take a meaningful snap in the game.
But you brought up you brought up the facts behind the Bears passing on both Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud.
Yes, but because they had done that before they had seen Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud take a snap in the NFL. So you're comparing what those guys have done in college.
No, what I'm saying now, right, but what I'm saying now is retroactively, the Bears probably deserve even more credit because everyone was holding it against them that they didn't draft Stroud. They had Stroud right there.
Yeah.
Smalls is ready to drive Stroud to the airport in Houston and get rid of him, right?
Okay, that's aggressive. I'm concerned.
Okay, but if I ask you the question right now, I know your answer.
Yes, he did just throw another interception.
Yeah,
Is that your question?
just now it just happened.
I know
Sorry,
your answer
CJ,
to this.
that was low, but I'm worried.
You would believe next 10 years. I believe you would say Mendoza, Stroud, Young. If it was Michelle Smallman answering.
Very good, Evan.
Right. So the point that I'm making is that comp of passing on guys, getting picks, and waiting for your guy. I think this is your guy. I think he's better than Stroud and Young coming out.
No.
Than coming out in the draft.
We also haven't seen him, so it's tough.
I think he's better.
That's aggressive. That's
He
aggressive.
had an undefeated season.
He was phenomenal. Listen, he was phenomenal.
Physically, he's way greater than Bryce Young. Bryce Young is very small, right? Stroud, felt like and still feels like he's going to have a really good career. I know Smalls disagrees.
I hope he does.
And they made a move yesterday that'll help him. David Montgomery has been helped change the culture in Detroit. 33 touchdowns in 3 years, all in. So an average of 11 touchdowns a year. Pretty good.
What do we have there? We have a ranking from one of our scouts.
So Matt Miller did this exercise actually where Fernando Mendoza would rank versus the recent first-round QBs, pulling scouts, decision makers, and analysts, that type of thing, pre-draft grades, and has him 8th. So that's behind Caleb, Trevor, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bryce Young, Zach Wilson, and C.J. Stroud.
Wow.
Zach Wilson?
He's behind all of those guys.
Yeah,
That's coming out, though.
Yes,
coming out.
Yes.
Wow.
Zach Wilson?
So
I think he'd be ahead of him
so
now.
to answer your question, no. The scouts don't view him as better than C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young coming out.
Right, but I do. And I'm just giving my opinion. They know more than me, obviously.
That's the point.
I understand. But there's no chance in hell I'm passing on this, even if I'm wrong, if I'm the Raiders. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Everybody's got a price, though. And I'm just wondering, where is that line?
No, not in
where
this
is the
case.
price?
I have no price.
So there is no price. There's no amount of
If I'm the
first-round
Raiders-
draft picks that the Jets can give you to get you to trade down to number 2. No amount.
No,
I'm
come
telling
on,
you,
y'all.
no.
based on what I've seen him do on the football field, undefeated season, Heisman Trophy, the catalyst in so many ways to their success. At Indiana, he brought Indiana to the top of the mountain in college football. He, by all accounts, is a perfect face of your franchise. He is a hard worker. He's not distracted. He's media friendly. He's a good teammate. Look at the way his teammates were writing for him throughout the season. He had a tough coach and he's malleable. I know so many things about him and the positive column that would make me.
So hold on.
I don't know.
I get where you're coming from, Smalls. I do want to ask y'all this question. And Evan, I guess this one has to be specifically tailored for you. Because you've said if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you would entertain the possibility of trading Joe Burrow. You wouldn't entertain the possibility of trading Fernando Mendoza if you're the Raiders?
No, because the Raiders seem to be heading in the right direction. The Bengals